So they ultimately want to stay.
The wife does. And like,
So happy wife, happy wife. Now we're figuring this thing out. Now you gave them the cash offer and they let you know, yo, the cash offer does not work for me. And we find out the reason being isn't really because of the asking price, right? It's not because of the purchase price so much, but it's more because they want to live in this first floor unit. So let's figure out if we can find a way to get creative and solve this problem of them getting a number that makes sense for them and also allowing them to stay in the property. So why do you think he is open to creative?
the last time I was out there, we spoke in depth of like different creative options, right? Because his wife wants to stay, because he wants to maximize the profit, that open and the fact that it is 3 units, it opens up the world of creative where just looking at these numbers, I would want to see if potentially allowing them to keep the bottom unit would be an option.
Yeah.
Can we come in, renovate the whole house? You keep the bottom unit, we get the top 2 units. So we came in, we do the 400,000 in rehab, and now we're selling the top 2 units for 850.
By the way, if I'm ever buying a creative deal for like me to hold on to or something like that, or even my cash deals, I typically won't do this. I won't let the seller stay in the property because, especially here in Massachusetts, it's hard to get these tenants out. We have no
Mm,
rights. This situation is a little bit different because remember what I said before, unit two and unit three are going to be separate addresses from unit one. So what you could potentially do is do a condo conversion where you have these. Does this need to be rehabbed too?
yeah,
Okay.
everything. Because the fire on the third floor, they came in, they put out the fire, all of the water came down. So it's a full gut all the way through and through.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's why the repair cost is so much. The walls need to be torn out,
Hmm.
floors need to be taken out, everything. Because it's this fire didn't just happen. This is 8 months ago. So this is 8 months of mold building up in the
Right.
floors, the walls, everything.
Okay. Cool. So why don't you put an agreement in place with him that states that you guys he doesn't want to take care of the rehab, right? He wants you
Yeah,
guys
he
to
would
take care of the
prefer.
rehab,
Yeah, he would prefer not to.
and he doesn't live in the property, so you guys would be able to do your whole entire thing and get everything done.
Yeah. Now they don't live in the property now, but the insurance covering the location that they are staying at is coming to an end in the next couple months.
Okay.
So they do need to find another place, and that's another opportunity for us to make something like this work.
Solving problems again.
It always solving
Okay. So
problems.
what does the insurance situation look like?
They gave him an initial price. He has not given me the price.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's close to 350 because he was asking for a little bit more than that. And I believe he's trying to get 400. So I think those are the numbers. The insurance adjuster said, okay, we'll give you 3 or 350, somewhere in that range. He's trying to get up closer to the 4 because it is a full gut rehab and it's going to need that.
Okay. What you could potentially do is inherit that insurance claim.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, I have a property right now
Yeah.
that we have a novation agreement, right? The place flooded. It was super cold the past like 2 or 3 weeks. The place flooded. The
Pipers.
exactly. The seller is receiving an insurance check, right? And we already are under contract with a buyer, and we're still working this thing out. But
Yeah.
they can inherit that insurance claim. Let's just say the insurance claim is 35 grand or something. That's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
They can just say, hey, let's just close on this thing. I'll take the 35 grand that you were going to get in your pocket. I'll take that and do the rehab, and I'll just close on it at the price that we agreed upon.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That could be huge. Yeah.
you could do something like that. And what you could do is just so that you're more secure. I was going to say you could do a novation agreement. I wouldn't really do that here. I would do something where you have full ownership in it. You can own this whole entire property, inherit the insurance claim, and then put an agreement in place that states that they are, let's just say when the rehab is done, whatever the time frame is, whenever that is done, they own this property.
Yep.
They own unit one.
Yep. And so the whole thing would have to be contingent on condo conversion approval because we would be screwed if the city says no to making that third unit.
Yeah,
So it would have to be contingent on that.
because you're going to inherit that insurance claim. So whatever
Yep.
price that you guys agree upon, right? Maybe it's 700 grand or whatever. Never mind the purchase price, but agree to a number and let's just call it 500 grand is what you guys agree upon. do a seller finance note, that 500 grand, close on the property, and that seller finance note says that you owe him the 500 grand here in the next whatever, like
Right.
2 years, right? And then when that note is due, they also take deed of this property.
That's a good move. I think another key piece to this to add in here is the fact that there is a 290 mortgage still on the property.
Okay, so it would be what we call a hybrid. So there would be a $290,000 mortgage
Yep.
that stays in the seller's name. So you'd be taking the property down on subject to plus seller finance. So I'm
Okay.
just talking numbers, and I'm not going to go into the weeds of all the numbers and everything like that.
Yep.
But 290 is what is owed on the mortgage. Let's just call it 500 is what you guys have agreed upon for a price. Okay. What would happen at that point is you just start making those payments every single month while you're doing the project, and that kind of helps him out. You can even use some of the insurance claim money to make those payments. You know what I mean? If it's gonna make sense with the rehab as well. So pretty much what you're doing, right, is you're taking deed of this property, taking full responsibility of all the debt on this property. Once you are done with the project, you use the insurance money to finish the project. Once you're completely done with it, you sell these 2 units in order to get him the purchase price that you guys agreed upon, and then he takes deed of this property.
We sell those, we make our profit. He gets ownership of unit 1. We're out.
Yeah.
We're out and done.
Everything would be contingent upon the condo conversion and everything like that. So I would talk to the city before you ever made any moves or anything like that, because you don't want to be caught up in charge of making the mortgage payments every single month. You know what I mean?
That is something that we talked about as well, is have a rough idea of what he would want to receive to get by, like what he needs, because they're on fixed income. They're an elderly couple.
You got to think about this too. Worst case scenario, you guys don't perform on the rehab, you'd probably have to have some verbiage in there that protected him for the rehab, for this rehab money. But worst case scenario, he just inherits the property back. Let's just say you guys get 400K into the rehab and you still have some things left over and you guys aren't about to finish it and you guys stop making the mortgage payments, or you don't finish it in time for the seller finance note when that's due, he just gets the property back. And you guys have fully renovated one property and maybe 3/4 of the way through another unit. And now he just gets all that back.
Yep.
And now he takes deed of the whole entire thing. Now he can finish this project. This one's already done. He can sell both of these through a condo conversion. He can live in that. And then he makes way more money.
Yeah.
In the worst case scenario for the seller. So if he ever comes up and he says, oh, what happens if you screw up the project? I'd be like, dude, that would be the worst case scenario for me.
Exactly.
If that happens, all the mortgage payments I just made go to you. Any payments that I've made to you over time, and I would try to do my best to negotiate it so that I don't have to pay him over time unless he needs it to live or whatever the case is. But anything that I've given to you and anything that I've put into the property, I lose. I lose all that time and money, and you get that back.
Yeah. It's definitely been a tricky one to work out, because him and his wife want to stay for an undetermined amount of time, where, we could stay 5 years, we could stay 10 years, that kind of thing. So it's not like we can set a strict date of this is when you guys have to be out, that kind of situation. So I think the way that we have it structured here would make the most sense, because it leaves unit 1 in their hands completely.
Exactly. Own unit 1.
Right.
This is now their house.
Right.
They can do whatever the heck they want with it. They can rent it out. They can sell it. They can do whatever. And then these 2 units, you sell to somebody else and you take the profits.
Yep.
So pretty much what you're really doing is you're renovating their unit for them. They don't have to worry about that. And then you're renovating these 2 and flipping them.
If his insurance claim is delayed, signing the agreement would have to give us ownership enough to where we can get the funding to fund the rehab. We would have to be able to get that $400,000 to do the work while we're waiting on his insurance claim to come through. I know you've dealt with the insurance adjusters. Like, nobody knows how long those are going to take.
Well, what's the rush? I would wait for the insurance claim, because the insurance claim is easier to raise the money. This is a lot of money to go raise. You can go raise this money if you want from a private lender after you close on it, right? After you close on the property, you now own it outright with a seller finance note on it. You can go raise the 400K from a private lender to finish the rehab.
Yeah.
100%. But why do that when I can go take the 400K that I just raised from a private lender? I can go buy like 40 houses with this 400K. You know what I mean? It's not the best use of my private money. I would rather just take the money from the insurance because the insurance is going to give it regardless, unless there was some crazy stuff that went on. But let the insurance do their job. And at the end of the day, if the seller was going to do the insurance anyway, they're going to have to wait for the insurance to go through.
Yeah.
So to some pain points, I would figure out if the seller is okay with doing, here's what I would say. I'll be like, okay, when's the insurance claim going to be done? He says, maybe 6 months. Okay, once the insurance claim is done, what does it look like for you? Are you okay with doing the rest of the rehab? And if he says, no, I really don't, I don't have the time and energy, I'm getting older, I don't want to be managing contractors and everything like that. And you say, hey, why don't we just take responsibility of all that?
Yeah.
Why don't we manage the contractors? Why don't we do all the rehab? And then at the end of our rehab, you just get this, and then we give you money for these two.
Now, if he's keeping this mortgage that's standing, the 290, where is that paid off? Where is that coming from? We come in, we'll use their insurance money to pay for all of the renovations. We renovate all of it. If we've put in 400,000, they have a finished unit, we have 2 finished units, but there's still a $290,000.
That's going to have to end up getting paid off.
So
the reason being is because you're going to do the condo conversion.
Right. So if we sell those top 2 units, 850 minus the 4 that we put in, minus the 290, now we're looking at a lot lower. Now we're looking at 160 profit.
That's a negotiation tactic though, too, with the seller. And you got to let the seller know, hey, you're going to own this unit. And this is when you're negotiating the price for the seller finance note. You're going to own this unit with no debt on it. What were your thoughts going into this conversation? What did you think the creative strategy was going to be?
I'm a wholesaler through and through. I haven't done many creative deals. Seeing it laid out like this helps a lot, helps piece it together a little bit for me. I knew this was the situation with them keeping unit 1, but I saw it more as a monthly seller finance payment for them to stay for a period of time. A balloon payment when they leave, basically, versus just actually having them own the condo itself. The way that I explained that to him is, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to take over the mortgage payments, and we're going to take over the insurance claim. We'll pay the monthly mortgage throughout the entire project, but beginning as soon as we sign the contract, we will take over the mortgage. When the insurance money comes in, we are going to take that. We will do all of the renovations. And then when the renovations and condo conversion is done, you will own unit 1. We will sell the top 2 units, pay off the rest of your existing mortgage, take our profits, and that's it.
Yep. And you will now have a renovated unit with no debt on it. And then 2 people up here will own these properties. But if you're okay with that, then remember what we talked about in the beginning.
Try and get that first.
Here's what happens, right? Sometimes you'll put yourself in the seller's brain.
Yeah.
And you're thinking for the seller. Whenever we're thinking for the seller, it never goes how it should go, because the seller knows what they really truly want, what their situation is. So what we do is we bring them through the sales process, and then we wrap up everything from the sales process and present them their best solution. Yeah. So I'm asking like, hey, let me ask, what has got you guys wanting to go through all this headache with this property, with all this fire damage and all the insurance things and everything like that? What has got you guys wanting to just stay in the property rather than just taking the cash and going to buy a different house? Because you're going to walk away. Well, let's think about this. This is after the cash offer. If you're going to get $850 for the property or whatever, you're going to end up walking away with $500,000. You can go put that $500,000 down on a property that is in perfect condition, and you guys don't have to worry about anything else. I get it. This might be the property that you have lived in for so long or whatever the case is, but why the heck would you want to go through all that?
Right. Now is the time to do it, because they've been living outside of the house for so long,
Yeah.
where I feel like the wife, this is the most detached she's been from the house. You've already been out of the house for 8 months. Now's the time to sell them on like moving into a different place.
Yeah. No, this was dope, bro. At the end of the day, I would probably try to get them to realize that cash is probably the best thing for them,
Yeah.
rather than creative, because that is a complex deal. You're gonna have to go through the city. You're gonna have to do the insurance thing. Like, it's gonna take a while. Not saying that you can't do it. It was just cool, just for the sake of example of how we can solve problems through creative finance. That was the point of all this. But everything always circles back to the seller's best solution. So bringing them through the sales process, wrapping up everything that we found out in the sales process and providing them a solution, that is what solves problems. And that's what gets us deals.
And I think this is key. A lot of people don't look this far into deals, especially when you're starting out. I know a lot of people will look at that initial ARV times 0.75 minus repairs minus assignment fee, and they'll offer that price. If the seller says no, that's it. They just move on.
Yeah.
And this shows that there's so much more to look into and work out if that cash offer doesn't work.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So this has been huge. Thanks, man. I
Appreciate you, bro.
Keep on learning from these creative deals, man.
Yes, sir. If you want to learn more about creative finance, keep following my YouTube page. Chris, where do they find you at?
I'm on Instagram, Chris Borden _ Chosen Homes as well is my company. So we're doing a lot of cool stuff over there, real estate, blockchain stuff. Yeah, so check us out on Instagram, Twitter. All the links are in the bios. And we're on YouTube as well, Chosen Homes.
Let's go. Chris got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Chris on this journey as we're growing this community. And he's got a lot of stuff to provide to the community. So go get in touch with Chris, go follow his stuff, and we're going to catch you on the next video. Peace out.